What's going on, guys? So today we're going spearfishing, and as you could see, my boat is out of the water. So I figured I'd show you how I do shore diving. When my boat is out of the water, I'm doing my 100-hour maintenance tomorrow. So I'll show you how I do some shore diving. I'm taking the paddleboard. I have an inflatable paddleboard. I will bring you in my garage real quick. My garage is messy because I just moved into this house and I haven't put stuff away fully yet, but got my paddleboard there. I have all my fishing rods and guns, but I'm gonna take my short gun. I use this in less good visibility because it's pretty short. It's a roller, so it still has a ton of power, but it's a little bit shorter than my Co 110 reel gun. I'm gonna bring this as well just to have it, but I'll most likely end up using my roller. So beautiful out here. The viz is amazing for where the tide's at right now. We still have about an hour till high tide. So normally the intracoastal is pretty murky until you have high slack tide. So right now it's really good viz, so I'm excited for the dive. We should have a good amount of time for visibility. Honestly, I could have brought my bigger gun. I know I brought my shorter gun because I was expecting bad viz. But we got a short paddle out, and then we'll get to diving. My dive partner, Austin, is like an Olympic paddler. He actually paddleboarded from the Bahamas to either West Palm Beach or Jupiter. I can't remember which spot he landed in, but from the Bahamas to Florida. So I took off a little bit earlier than him, anticipating him to catch me, which I'm sure he will.
Welcome underwater, everybody. So I just hopped in the water and I kept seeing these like snowflakes on the ground, and I was kind of wondering what they were. So my ADHD kicked in and I started swimming around, and then I stumbled upon this starfish, which I'm assuming was leaving these impressions on the floor. So I'm watching this for the first time as you guys are watching it, but I am swimming up to some structure and starting my dives. When I start my dives, I'm in a spot that the current is absolutely pumping. I like to dive down prior to the main structure that I want to get to and then kind of drift to it. I like to have an aerial view as opposed to dropping down right on it because it gives me a little bit more of an ability to see what is actually around as opposed to dropping right down on top of it and being too close to actually spot like the overall structure. So I saw a pretty good sized mangrove snapper. I'd say probably in that like 12 to 14 inch range, going between these rocks somewhere. So I have my light and I'm just, poking my head around trying to find it, but as you can see, I do not. And now, as you can see right here, I don't know if you can see, I'll pause it for a second. There is a set of fins that I see, and it's actually a monster lionfish. So I get my head down in there and I go to shoot. I don't know what happens, but I get a muzzle wrap on my roller. As you can hear, I'm slightly confused on what the heck just happened. But I eventually had to get out of the water, untangle it, because it was an absolute nightmare. And then by the time I got back in and dove down in that same spot, that lionfish has moved on. Now right here I'm actually holding onto the structure. I legitimately can't swim against this current, it's pumping that hard. So I'm on the outside, I dive down and on, and I swim diagonal to the current to try and get out to these further structures to see if anyone is home. I saw a bunch of snook, but here in the state of Florida you are not allowed to shoot snook. I don't actually know of anywhere you're allowed to shoot snook, in the States at least. It's always super cool swimming alongside manatees. It's actually one of my favorite things. So here's a mother and a baby. So this is the lionfish, or a lionfish, that I shot. I missed the recording on accident, but if you're not aware, lionfish have venomous barbs. Meat is amazing. It's super white, not fishy at all. But it's one of those fish you gotta be careful you don't get stuck with. As you can see, I got another one here in a different location. Again, missed the shot. But you can see, I'm trying to grab its mouth so I can get a little bit of control of it, and I almost, right about now, get poked. So I ended up putting it on the paddleboard and just dispatching it that way. But here I'm diving some structure. This is my first dive in this spot, so I'm not exactly sure how far I gotta go back, but I have heard that this is a spot that is stacked with sheepshead. Pull the trigger and my safety's on. But I just shot my first sheepshead of the day, and you'll see as this video goes on, this is a stacked location for sheepshead. That must have been an undersized sheepshead that somebody threw back, but that was there before I got there. What I'm doing here is actually loading my spear shaft back into my gun before I actually take the fish off. It just helps with your breathe up once you are fully done dispatching the fish. So as always, I brain my fish, put it out as humanely as possible. Relatively hippie when it comes to those things. So I brain it, bleed it, and I gut it as well. Bleeding it just helps preserve the meat and take away a little bit of that fishy flavor. But sheepshead feed on crustaceans, so their meat is super sweet and white, tasty. It's such a good eating fish. But you can see how much blood actually comes out of their gills when you gut them. That was actually my first dive. Now I'm thinking back on it. My first dive when I got that fish. And I actually got a little bit of puppy fever. You can see all the sheepshead, and there's some spadefish sprinkled in there, so they got similar color pattern, but I got some puppy fever, and I actually could not decide which one to shoot, and I ended up coming up with 0 fish. Again, the case of puppy fever here. Could not decide on what fish. Puppy. Sorry, my dog is barking probably. Hey, cut it out. So the sheepshead are actually smartening up, and they're going deeper and deeper into the structure. They originally, as you could see in the beginning, they started at the first structure, but ended up working their way back to the second, and as you can see later in the video, they go back even further.
I didn't see anything back there.
I had to go pretty deep with this guy. Just like they kind of caught on.
I went back to the second pilings. Second set? Or no, third set. Not this one, not the next one, but the next one.
Yeah. Ooh, look at that.
Healthy, healthy.
And that is a beautiful sight when the whole squad has got fish to go home with. But the day's not over, we actually get into more action. Now, normally I throw my gun and I swim down to the fish and pull them up, but this was not a spot that I was worried about sharks. I didn't see any sharks, and I don't have a line on this gun anyways, it's just double wrapped. So I was kind of just shooting them and swimming back up to the surface. My heart rate was actually pumping because I was super dehydrated this day. And I didn't realize this, but when you are dehydrated, you lose about 10 to 25% of your breath hold. So that was something that was definitely affecting my ability to drop my heart rate. My average heart rate in this dive was like somewhere around 100 beats per minute, which is crazy for free diving. But again, brain and bleed, and gut. I got all my fish in the water, unless it's, you know, sharks are around and pretty active. Swing and a miss. You could actually hear the shaft ting off the concrete. Here's my buddy Austin. He had, I think, 5 lionfish this day.
Cleaning the ocean one lionfish at a time.
Here is just an absolute wall of sheepshead, spadefish, and jack crevalle. I do not know how I missed this one. It even did that little death roll. I'm starting to think that I shot it and it just had a hard surface behind it. The flopper didn't engage. And because I didn't swim to the fish and I just pulled it out, my assumption is that I actually probably pulled the shaft back out. Like I said, because the flopper didn't go fully through. But you can hear once I get, yeah, I go, what the? Completely stunned. Actually examined my shaft thinking that something happened, but looking back and watching the film on it, I bet that was the case. I shot something hard in the background, the flopper didn't go through. And now that the fish have gotten a lot smarter and they know what we're up to, was like swimming with my stomach pretty much along the sand on the bottom to kind of hide myself as much as possible. And although my buddies are there, we're not doing the best at buddy diving and watching each other, which we definitely should have been better about. So instead of like pushing my breath hold, especially while I was dehydrated, I was only doing anywhere between 30 to 40-second dives, which is very conservative for me. Here you can see me actually gutting the fish. Just helps preserve the meat and save a little bit of mess inside the cooler. And it also, something that I normally do when I fillet is I like to take the ribs. You'll see me do it when I fillet this fish later on. I like to take the ribs, so if I already gut the fish, I don't have to worry about the stomach contents when I am filleting it. There's my buddy Austin.
Being that these have venomous barbs, I'm putting them in the cooler all the way to the left to avoid anyone getting their hands stung when they stick it in there. I've been sticking mine back in there. Yeah, nice one.
So because I'm actually going to dinner tonight with my grandma and my girlfriend and her boyfriend, I'm actually not filleting up the fish today. So what you'll see is I'm gonna fill up this cooler with a lower level. I already gutted the fish as you saw me do it in the water, and then I'm gonna put the fish vertically, and I leave the drain plug open. That way the fresh water drains out. So watch me. I'll show you how I do this. I get a nice little bed going there. And what most people don't realize is this is actually what commercial fishermen do. You know, they don't really, most of them don't come back the same day. So they'll stay out in the ocean for some time. I gotta be careful because there are some lionfish in here. And I would hate to get one of the pokes. So my first sheepshead. Stack it like that. Second sheep's head. Third. Fourth. All right, so here's a sheep's head. Today completely got away from me. I ended up putting it on ice and letting it sit for almost, that's 24 hours now. So what you'll do is you lift up the pectoral fin, make a incision right behind it, go up towards the head. I then follow the backside nice and tightly. Sheep's head have pretty, no seams crazy right now. They have pretty tough scales, but you want to follow the spine down. They're a crustacean eater, so they have really, really nice white and sweet meat. You could hear the knife skipping over the backbone. Once I get over the backbone, I then try and angle my knife down a bit so I don't miss out on any meat. And then once I got down far enough, I pop my knife out the bottom side. I then like to use a serrated. I gut my fish in the water, so I actually use a serrated to go straight through the ribs, and then I take the ribs off after the fact. Some people like to go over the ribs. I personally just like going and taking them. There we go. Now that I have the one fillet off, I then flip this over and I take off the ribs. They have super tough scales, so it's a little harder to fillet than like a mangrove snapper, for example. My hands are actually dirty from doing Gaiotaku art, so I am gonna put gloves on real quick, just so that ink doesn't go elsewhere. So now I have my fillet. There's some pin bones right here. And you could see that this meat is super white. And when in the water, if you remember in the beginning of the video, when I shot the fish, I'd always bleed them, and that helps remove the bloodline. If I didn't bleed it, there would be much more of a bloodline. So you can see the meat's super white. It's easiest, honestly, just to go down like this. Cut through. Again, the scales are just crazy. So I'll take the fish, skin it. I know some people like hold the skin and then do it that way. I personally like to press my hand down on it and just slide that like that instead. I did mess it up a little bit on this one though. There you go, a nice white flaky piece. Hey, puppy, this way. Boom, nice white flaky piece. Flip it over and repeat. Alright, so you can see the carcass is pretty much perfectly clean. Didn't really miss a whole lot. Alright, so we got the second fillet through. Just gonna clean this out a little bit better. Alright, so I'm gonna bring these fillets in and we will go into the kitchen. Alright, so we now have our fish in the pan. We don't want to overcrowd it. This is a little bit smaller than I would have liked, but this is what I got. So we got this in the pan. I'm now taking a clove of garlic and just smashing them up so I can peel them and then put them on in. This is going to be a lemon garlic, olive oil and caper dish. I gotta preheat the oven to 375. So I'm now gonna take my olive oil and drizzle it on. Take the garlic cloves. Sporadically place them in there. Then we're going to take lemons and thinly slice them. Lay them. You want to make sure you lay them on top and not below. We're now going to add the standards: salt, pepper, some garlic powder, and onion powder. So we got the onion powder, salt, garlic powder, and pepper. We got some pepper. Some onion powder, just a light drizzle. This is garlic powder. Some salt. So this is what the dish looks like prior to going in. We're now going to preheat the oven to 375. Which it's preheating at the moment, and then we're going to put this in for around 13 minutes. All right, so we now have it preheated at 375. I'm going to take this, put it on in the oven. Now that we're in the oven at 375, I'm going to set a timer for 14 minutes. All right, so with the last minute left, we're going to put some capers on. Try not to burn ourselves.
Close that back up. We got 30 more seconds, and then we will pull it out and dress it. Time to pull it out. You don't want to let sheep's head overcook because it dries out really fast. Turn this off. So now we are going to dress this with, immediately put some fresh lemon on it. Take a few pieces of butter. Let's put a little bit of butter in it. And then take some parsley. And we're going to let this marinate. And then once it sits for a couple minutes, we will then let it all marinate in and we will get to eating. I just touched that, not even thinking.
Hot?
No, actually wasn't bad.
No. Not hot at all.
So this is a lemon, garlic, caper, parsley, olive oil dish.
Okay.
I think looking back on it now, what I would have done differently is I would have like sauteed the garlic longer because the garlic's kind of like hard, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's not like the mushy once you cook it down.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
This is my girlfriend Haley. Well, that wasn't awkward. Stage fright or something? Alright,
Okay.
go ahead, give it a try.
Very garlicky. Very soft. Very good.
Yeah, I like it
I
a
like
lot.
it.
Sheep's head feed on crustaceans, so their meat's really good.
Mm-hmm. It was like slightly sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's from the crustacean diet. I actually saw like when I gutted it in the water, they had like a ton of little crabs. Little
Oh,
crabs
really?
or shrimp, I couldn't really tell because it was already
Really?
digested.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, I know what you mean by the garlic.
The garlic, right? Yeah. Yeah, you got it. You're around the garlic.
Mm-hmm. Did you sear the fish before you put it in the
Mm-mm.
oven?
Should have. I didn't get
It's
any.
really good
I
at
didn't
it
get any
as
of
it
the
is.
capers.
Yeah, I only got a few. It's really good as it is. Really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would have probably seared at least one side and then put
You give it a little
it
crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Face down in the sauce and then put the rest in the oven.
Yeah. And then do that, and then also the garlic.
Yep. Otherwise, it's
Render
really
the garlic
good.
down a little bit.
Doesn't get any fresher than this.
No.
It's really good though. I love it.
All right. Well, we're gonna finish this, and I'm going spearfishing again tomorrow. So hopefully catch something else. See you.